Dear students, let us now discuss about the laws of limiting friction. The first law is F is directly proportional to R, where R is the normal reaction between the surfaces in contact. Number 2, the direction of force of limiting friction. It is actually force of limiting friction is opposite to the direction of applied force. We can write here force of friction, but since we are focusing over the limiting friction, so that is why we have written here, I have written here limiting friction. It is independent of apparent area of contact and depends on the nature of material of surfaces in contact. Let us now discuss about all the laws one by one. Now first case is that force of friction is directly proportional to R. Now what is R? R is the normal reaction. Let us consider this is a table over which a block is lying having weight mg. So we know that this table will in turn give a reactional force R which is equal to mg. R is equal to mg, right? Now when we apply a force, in that case a frictional force will develop which opposes its motion and which is exactly equal to the applied force, right, as we have discussed in our previous video. So whenever the body is in static condition, in that case applied force is equal to frictional force, because in that case this will act as a balanced force and will not tend the block to move. And we know that the block will move only when we apply a force which is equal to weight of the body, right? So in that case we can say F is equal to, if P is equal to mg, means when we apply a force equal to weight of the body, then the block is at the verge of moving, and that force is known as limiting frictional force, right? When the block is at the verge of moving, then that is the maximum value of static frictional force and is known as limiting frictional force, right? And that is since this P is equal to F and is equal to mg or is equal to R, so we can say that F is directly proportional to R. More is the weight of the body, accordingly more will be the reactional force, and hence force of friction will be more. Now coming to the second point, the direction of force of friction is opposite to the direction of applied force. This also we have already discussed, that since the block is to be in stationary state, okay, so in that case when we apply a force, now to keep it in the balanced position we need a force which should be equal in magnitude of applied force and opposite in direction to the applied force. So that is why we can say that frictional force always act in a direction opposite to the direction of applied force. Third law is it is independent of apparent area of contact, right? Now to understand this, let us consider we are having a table. Fine. In this case there are two blocks which are being kept, okay. Now firstly was having weight mg. When we increase the weight it becomes suppose 2 mg, so again reactional force will be 2R. So again if we apply a force, that should be equal to at least equal to 2R by this formula, so that it doesn't move. It doesn't move means it is at the verge of moving, right? And means if we apply a force greater than this force, slightly greater than this force, it will start moving, okay. So in this case the reactional force is 2R. Now if we take the boxes and keep them like this, okay, and we have connected these two boxes with suppose a pulley, and this is also connected with a pulley, and this is a pan in which we can put the weight. Now if we want to measure the value of force applied, frictional force, what we have to do, we have to put some weight in this pan. When the blocks are just at the verge of moving, in that case it means this weight of the pan plus the weight of the coins placed in that will give us measure of the frictional force. And it is observed experimentally, then when we keep the boxes like this or we keep the boxes like this, in that case the weight of the pan plus weight of the coin is exactly equal. This shows that that it is independent of frictional force. Limiting frictional force is independent of area of contact. Here the area of contact is smaller, actual area of apparent area of contact is smaller, and here it is more, but still this weight is equal in both cases. So we can say that independent of apparent area of contact. Last law is it depends upon the nature of material of surfaces in contact. For example, to understand this, let us consider we have taken one rough surface and another one is smooth surface, right? So in that case we can find out the magnitude of frictional force by again connecting this box with the pulley, and this is a pan in which we can put the weight, right? This is a rough surface which is kept on the table. Now by putting the value of coins we can find out the value of frictional force. Now take a smooth surface which is to be kept over the table, right? Now if we put some weight in a pan, it is observed that in this case the pan weight is lesser as compared to this. It shows that smooth surface is having less frictional force as compared to the rough surface. Okay, so in that case we can easily find out the amount of limiting frictional force by putting the weight in the pan.